How's it going out there? My name is Ron Hall, and I am a member of Ranch Cordova Arts and also an artist. And I wanted to kind of do a short workshop today on how to make masks out of household goods that you can find in your house. So we're kind of all held in captivity right now, and a lot of us are getting boxes from the place that shall not be named, and it gives us some art supplies that we can work with just cardboard. I want to talk about that and some of the other supplies in a second. This is a Anubis piece. This is a finished piece, and I will talk at the end about this because the nose and some of the detail work is a little more intricate than what we're working on today, but we'll get to that in a second. A little backstory of how I got into doing cardboard masks. About 10 years ago, my sons were homeschooled, but they still went to a charter where they learned things like science and other subjects, and we did a bulk of the homeschooling at home. Anyway, there was a crafts fair that was an annual thing, and it was more of an entrepreneurial business person where they had to come up with a product that was creative, make a product that was cheap to make and also cheap to sell, and then do some marketing and promoting. And so we were trying to figure out what to do. My oldest son had won Entrepreneur of the Year before, and he was trying to talk my younger son into doing it. And so what we came up with was masks, and my younger son is Sam, and he did Safari Sam's Trader Hut. And so we thought masks would be really cool. It was something that we had around. So this is my older son's mask that he did. It is a spray painted brown, and then there's some accenting with cardboard on top. He chose to use shells, and I think he was like maybe 11 at the time, and so pretty creative. I think we had just went to Disneyland, so he had the Indiana Jones Jungle Cruise vibe going. My younger son, I believe, was about 8, and he did some blue, yellow, and green. He actually cut out the eyes and did some accents with the nose and mouth and everything. And so we made like 25 masks, and they sold really well, and it went over really well. And Sam got Entrepreneur of the Year, so that was exciting. Some of the items and supplies I'm using today are a glue gun, regular craft glue, Elmer's glue, cutting tools of scissors and X-Acto knife. For coloration, I'm using spray paint, both orange and black, duct tape for a project I'm doing in a little bit, and cardboard that we can make a nose out of. I really advise for especially the scissors, the hot glue gun, and the spray paint of having adult supervision. These can be a little tricky and dangerous to work with, and this can be really hot. The glue inside is like lava, and as it cools, it really hardens, and so that's a good part of it, but also the dangerous part about using a glue gun. The supplies I know I needed today would be the big piece of flat cardboard, which I spray painted orange. Just some small pieces of black cardboard for accent pieces. Kind of a lime green, bright green, and black construction paper. And we'll get started to how I put this mask together. You saw the big piece of rectangular orange cardboard. I used this as a basis, kind of the shape, and so I cut out the shape of the cardboard to kind of mimic what we had here. I knew I was gonna have to kind of cut out football-shaped eyes. Notice the ears are more round, not like a house cat, more pointy, and then the cheek pouches and a nose. There's some difference. I didn't use any white with this piece, so I'll show you how I built this out. The first thing I knew I wanted to do was build the middle and then expand out. So I built a nose and kind of a bridge of a nose. This one is more flat initially, and you'll see how I kind of work things out. I kind of cut the bottom and then the bridge of the nose to go to the eyes, and then the bottom to work to the nose. And so those kind of fit together. You can kind of see this is just the black spray painted cardboard that I showed you. I was thinking I want this to kind of go up, and so I got a little piece of cardboard extra and kind of put that bridge up, and I will glue this in real time, but just kind of show you the build pieces. For the cheek pouches, I cut out a piece of orange cardboard kind of in a cheek pouch, These I put in later, and we'll show you how those work. But whenever you're doing two eyes, 2 cheek pouches, make your cuts for the first one, and then you can use it as a kind of as a pattern for the second one, so they're consistent. And later on, if I want to put like a black piece of paper, I can do that. So you can kind of see I've got a space there, and I just did some black construction paper. And I can connect these later on. For the eyes, I have the 2 football shapes. These are actually almost like teardrops. I kind of did round those off, and those kind of go in those little grooves. And this would all be glued as we go. The construction paper, I wanted to kind of give some striking eyes, and so I glued those, or would glue those on. I wanted it to kind of be bright and glowing. And I messed around with round eyeballs, and then the slits, and I chose the slits. I thought that might look kind of cool. And then we start getting into, as we work our way up, kind of building up so I can kind of see how things fit together. I did some ears, and these are a little rounded. And what you can do is give yourself extra, and that way you can glue them behind, and it kind of adds different textures. You kind of see you have the texture of the nose, and the textures of the ears and the cheek pouches, and then the accents of the inside of the ear. As we go on, we know that this is a basic cat, and you can do other things. You can make this into a lion with having cut cardboard, but today we're doing a tiger, so gotta have stripes. And so I have a little top stripe. And these are all matching, so I cut one and then I cut the other for any of the duplicates. This is all just construction paper. And I'm working upside down, so if I do something wrong, forgive me. And these 2 pieces. So I already have the little spots where whiskers would go. You could use pipe cleaners. I just use construction paper, and so not only getting a 3D effect, you're getting little things that come off your mask, which is kind of cool. That would be glued, so. And then for the bridge, I thought about doing something kind of cool. So I just got a piece of black construction paper, and I started cutting rectangles. And so they kind of went a little smaller as I made my way down. Kind of hard working with a non-glued piece, but you kind of get the idea. So that's kind of your basic tiger. And what I'll probably do is I'll do some dots and some different detail work that might look cool. I might mess around with the whiskers. I might connect. It's kind of a work in progress. I have a basic idea of where I want to go, and then you can add all kinds of things. You can make it totally different using different accent pieces, different decorations. We all have different things in our homes, and take advantage of that. Use your creativity. In real life, if I was making this in real time, I'd be running around going to the garage. So that's why I kind of wanted to kind of build it up pre-made, just so you can kind of see the process. All of these are cut out, again, using one and then using it as a pattern for the next one. Same as the cheek pouches, same as the eyes, and I did that all the way through. So it kind of mirrors. So now we'll get into the made one that has a little more intricacy to it. So as far as noses goes, you can do just a flat nose or a bridged nose like we did with the tiger, or like with Anubis, a more detailed nose. And so having this piece already in place with the ridges cut, I can just kind of work in reverse and build it out. And so I find what my bridge is going to be. it's the thickest piece. And so kind of give myself some space. And as I was working Anubis, I made some modifications as I went. I didn't want him to look like an anteater, so I trimmed his nose a couple times. And so we have the basic piece. Get rid of some of the excess. And so I know it's going to be this way. I want this front to bend down, and I know this kind of wraps around, so just kind of make some cuts here. And you may have an idea that I'm not even thinking of that might be super cool. So if you guys can share your pieces, that would be great, and we can all learn from each other. So what we did here is we just cut little pieces out. This part is going to all show, obviously, on Anubis. This is blue. I did this black, and then some of the flanges are blue too. And so what I did for him is I duct taped the inside, and then I went over with the hot glue gun to really kind of fortify it, make it strong. And so this is kind of lays here. I would cut this down, and then I'm looking at it because it was a work in progress. I know it's going to kind of graduate down as it lays there, something like that. And then the caulking I did with the hot glue gun really helps keep it in place. And then you can spray paint over it again to get those spots that might have glue. And so that's just one thing you can do. That's just one example of the many ideas that you have. So this is the finished product with the nose. You can kind of see how it all came together. And it actually went off a little bit from the actual piece, and then you can kind of still see the little duct tape in there because it's kind of flexed out. I didn't want it so sharp and square that it looked robotic. I wanted to have a little character to it, and so that's what I did. I want to thank you again for joining me today. It was fun kind of showing you what I do, and I really look forward to seeing some of your posts of the masks you're making, or just your art in general you're making. We're going to keep doing these workshops and hopefully have a lot of fun in the process. So, hey, stay well, stay safe. Have a good day.